Hi. So today we will do some numericals of all difficulty level, starting from simple numericals to tougher one, on the concept of Gauss's theorem, electric field and electric flux. So let me start. So let me, the formula which we will be using, flux phi net is equal to surface integral of E dot ds, and this is equal to Q enclosed, charge enclosed by epsilon naught. This formula we will be using. So one by one we will be taking the cases of when suppose you have a sphere and it is having a charge plus Q, then flux, okay, let me omit it. Flux through the sphere phi is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. The flux will be coming out. Now, what if you have a hemisphere? This is a hemisphere. Flux through a hemisphere when charge Q is placed at the center of plane surface. Here you have placed one charge plus Q. Then you can see that the field lines emanate in all the directions. Whether you place it on a sphere, inside a sphere, or hemisphere, or 1/4 of it. So the field line has its own nature. It will be emanating in all directions. So you can see that only half of the flux lines are passing through this hemisphere. Therefore, flux through phi net through the hemisphere is equal to, and since you can see that only half of the field lines are passing through this hemisphere, therefore the half the flux of the total, half the total flux total, and this is equal to 1/2 and Q upon epsilon naught. Similarly, you can find flux for flux passing through so many parts of a sphere. If you take 1/4 if you take 1/4 of a sphere, then 1/4 of flux will be passing. 1/4 of the sphere. So flux phi will be 1/4. Therefore phi will be 1/4 q upon epsilon naught. But all the cases are when the charge is at the center. But if charge is not at the center, when the charge is not at the center, so charge is placed somewhere here. So you cannot say in this very case that for first half and for the second half the same flux will be there. You cannot say. Then what will happen? Draw a line from here, and half of the flux will be crossing above this line, and rest half of the flux will be crossing below this line. So you can see that for this small part of the sphere, half flux passes, and for rest of the sphere, next half of the flux passes. So if charge is not exactly at the center, then case differs, and depending on what the surface area given to you, and you can find out that half of the flux line is passing through this small surface area, and half of the flux line is passes through rest of the surface area. So as per question you will be applying. Now next case of a cube, flux through a cube. Flux through a cube. So let me draw one cube. And suppose the charge is placed at the center. A q charge is placed at the center. So the flux through the q phi is equal to q net by epsilon naught. This is one case. Now suppose the charge is placed at one of the surfaces at the center. Charge at center. When a charge is at one of the surfaces. At center. So let me draw a cube over here, and let me take a charge at one of its surface at its center. So you can see that charge is totally covered from below. Half of the fill lines are passing through it. Half of the fill lines are passing through it, and half is going in other direction. So only half of the fill line due to this charge is passing through the cube. Therefore flux phi through the cube, flux phi net is equal to total flux by half, means 1/2 into flux total, and this is equal to 1/2 q upon epsilon naught. Now next case, when a charge is placed at one of the edges of this cube. When a charge q is placed at one of the edges of the cube. Let me draw the cube. Now look, when charge is placed here, so let us imagine some more cubes so that the charge is totally covered by those cubes. So let me imagine some more cubes. So if we take such more cubes, and if we take 4 cubes, then the charge is totally surrounded by these cubes. Totally surrounded. So you can assume that the fill lines are passing equally in the 4 cubes. The fill lines are equally distributed. If we take 4 similar cubes, such that the cube is totally surrounded by the cubes. Cube is such that, the charge is totally surrounded by the 4 cubes. 4 similarly placed, not similar plus similarly placed, similar cubes. Okay, so by symmetry, only 1/4 of total flux will be crossing one cube, will be crossing one cube. Therefore flux through one cube is equal to 1/4 of flux total, and this is equal to 1/4 into Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Therefore phi is equal to Q upon 4 epsilon naught. So this is how you can find flux due to a charge when the charge is placed at different locations inside a cube. Okay, so next case, this was case 3, case 4. When a charge is placed at one of the vertices, charge is of the cube. So let me draw first of all a cube so that we can make an understanding about it. So a charge is placed at one of the vertices over here. So we will try to cover this charge by taking some similar cubes and cover it from all the directions. So let me take firstly 4 cubes as base. Here I am taking 4 cubes. These are the 4 cubes, and which will form the foundation of the charge present here. So you can see that the charge is covered from below, totally covered, but from upside it is totally vacant. So half of the fill line is going in free space and half is going in these 4 cubes. So let me take 4 more cubes so that the charge is covered from all the sides. I am taking 4 similar cubes to cover it from all the sides. Now, here you can imagine that fill lines are going in all the directions, and there are 8 cubes arranged all along. 8 similar cubes. Here are 8. Similarly placed. So fill line or flux through any 1 cube will be equal to 1/8 of the total fill lines. One cube is equal to 1/8 of total filled, let me write here flux, okay, total flux. Therefore, phi through 1 cube is equal to 1/8 of phi total, and this is equal to 1/8 q enclosed upon epsilon naught. So this is the flux through 1 cube. Now let me draw it again. Let me draw one cube separately, and you have placed a charge q over here, and the flux phi is equal to this much. Now when you see that these fill lines on 3 adjoining surfaces are parallel to the surface, fill line is along this direction and surface vector is along ds is along perpendicular direction. So angle between the two is 90 degree for 3 adjoining surfaces of this charge. Let me write for 3 adjoining surfaces of charge, fill vector E is at 90 degree from surface vector ds. Therefore E dot ds is equal to E ds cos 90, and this is equal to cos 90 is equal to 0, so this is 0. So all the flux is passing through the rest of the 3 surfaces. So the total flux is passing the far 3 surfaces, rest of far surfaces from charge Q. For 3 surfaces I should write, because altogether there are 6 surfaces only, and the flux line is not passing through these 3 surfaces. So total flux is passing through rest of the 3 surfaces. Therefore, flux through any one surface. So let me omit it. Okay. Therefore, flux phi through any one surface when a charge is placed at a vertex Q net is equal to 1/3 of, sorry, let me omit it. Okay, flux phi net 1/3 of phi total, and this is equal to Q by 8 epsilon naught. Therefore, phi net is equal to Q upon 24 epsilon naught. So 3 surfaces will have flux, therefore 3 will have flux. Phi is equal to Q by 24 epsilon naught, and adjoining 3 surfaces will have flux is equal to 0. So let me conclude. Now next one NCERT question. The electric field component in this figure are Ex is given alpha x square, means electric field in this direction E is equal to alpha x square, but Ey and Ez is 0, means electric field along this direction Ey is equal to 0, also in this direction Ez is equal to 0. Okay. And alpha has value given 800 Newton per Coulomb meter square. We have to calculate flux. Now the flux phi net will be equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3 plus up to phi 6, and there are 6 surfaces, so net flux through this Q will be equal to flux through all the surfaces. Now see that there are 2 surfaces only which are in yz plane, which are in this surface and this surface, and their surface vector, area vector, is either parallel. In this very case, area vector del S is parallel to electric field. Area vector we take out towards outside normal. ये outside normal आपका इधर है, और इस केस में outside normal just electric field के opposite है. And for rest of the surfaces, flux will be 0. So if we take this as one surface and this as other surface, 2 surface, then the flux for the rest of the surfaces will be 0. only two surfaces are parallel to YZ plane and they have their surface vector either opposite to or parallel to electric field. Opposite or parallel to electric. Therefore, phi is equal to E ds cos 180 is equal to minus E dot ds. Okay, let me omit it. Okay, E dot ds. And phi 2 is equal to E dot ds cos 0, and this is equal to E ds. And for rest of the surfaces, E is perpendicular to ds. Therefore, phi, which is equal to E dot ds, and this becomes equal to E ds cos 90 degree, and this becomes equal to 0. So for total flux phi net, we have to add only phi 1 and phi 2, and this is equal to minus E1 ds 1 plus E2 ds 2. So let us write the value of E and ds at these places. So E is given alpha x square, and alpha has value alpha 800 minus 800 and ds has value. Since A is given 0.1 meter, so A square is 0.1 whole square, and here it becomes plus 800 and since here you can see that fill lines and surface vector both are in the same direction, so plus 800 into x square, and x distance has increased, a plus a 2a, a plus a 2a. So here in place of 0.1 we will be writing 0.2 in place of 0.1. Okay, let me omit it. One thing has left. Okay, let me omit it. This is E only. This is your E only into ds. For ds, okay, because E is equal to your, here I should show it to you, because E is equal to alpha x square. And alpha x is equal to a and a is equal to 0.1, so it is, this quantity is only E. Here this is only A, and in place of ds, now surface area over here, and the A is equal to 0.1, so surface area is equal to 0.1 whole square. Now plus electric field at this point is equal to 800 alpha into x square. Alpha into x square, and here x becomes a plus a, 2a means 2 into 0.1, so it is equal to 0.2 whole square and into your area. For area you will be writing area is length square into length into breadth, and that is equal to a is equal to 0.1, so it is equal to 0.1 square. And now unit. Electric field has unit. For alpha it is Newton per Coulomb meter square. For alpha it is, okay, let me omit this. Newton per Coulomb meter square into square of x means meter square into, okay, this is your electric field into ds. For ds you will be writing meter square, so this is cancelled. So this becomes the unit of electric field, Newton per Coulomb meter square. Now your calculation is complete, so let me add all these things. 0.800 into 0.01 into 0.01 plus, this is minus 800, this plus 800 into 0.04 into 0.01, so this becomes equal to minus 800 divided by this much, and this becomes equal to 800 into 4, okay, square of it, no? So okay, and this much your Newton per Coulomb meter square, and this is equal to 3 into 800 by 10,000 Newton per Coulomb meter square, 2400 by 10,000 Newton per Coulomb meter square. So let me cancel. This is equal to 0.24 Newton per Coulomb meter square. So this is total flux. This is total flux through the square. Net flux through the, sorry, it is not square, it is cube, through the cube. Now next question. Question number 2. Question number 2. This was question number 1. Question number, charge in the cube. Charge in the cube. Since we know that flux phi is equal to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught, therefore Q enclosed is equal to phi into epsilon naught, and this is equal to 0.24 into 8.85 into 10 power minus 12. This much coulomb. Okay, let me. Okay, now next question. A hollow cylinder, here you can see in figure, a hollow cylinder has a charge Q coulomb within it. If phi is the flux in units of voltmeter associated with the curved surface, with B the flux is phi. The flux is phi through B. The flux linked with the plane surface A in units of voltmeter will be? What will be the flux through this surface area? Now we know that phi net is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3, and flux through B is given, and it is equal to phi through B, it is given, through C and through A. Flux will be similar as they have same surface area and distance from the charge also is same. So if you assign second surface B as second surface, C as third surface, let me change it. So flux phi through A and C will be same. Let me omit it. Okay. Here flux through surfaces A and C will be same. Edge, same surface area, and at same distance from charge. It is equal to Q dash let. Therefore, phi net is equal to, for Q1, for surface 1 it is phi dash, for surface B it is given phi, and for surface C also it is phi dash. And from Gauss's theorem, phi net is equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Therefore, 2 phi prime phi dash plus phi is equal to Q upon epsilon naught. Therefore, 2 phi dash is equal to Q by epsilon naught minus phi, and therefore flux through surface A is equal to 1 upon 2 into Q upon epsilon naught minus phi. This is how you will be finding. Okay, next question. A spherical portion has been removed from a solid sphere. A spherical portion is removed having a charge distributed uniformly in its volume. The sphere has uniform distribution of charge whole on its surface, not only on outer surface area, as shown in figure. What is electric field inside empty space? And charge density, let it is rho. Charge density, let it is okay. So we have to find electric field at any general point P. Here we have to find electric field, and we have two centers. So we will use here superposition principle. So firstly, so E net will be equal to E here, electric field here, due to complete charge sphere, E due to total uniformly charged sphere. Okay. And since I have taken charges here also, means plus charge over here, so I will take plus E due to negative charge density over here. Here I have assumed that charges are there. If you let me in rough, you have to discuss. Firstly, you will take positive charge density in this very case, in first case, in case of E1. If you take positive charge density by your own, and if in case 2 you take a negative charge density, the net charge here becomes equal to 0, and so we get a vacuum, a vacant space, not vacuum, a vacant space. So here what I am going to do, firstly I will assume that all along there in vacant space there is plus sigma charge density, or better I should write since it is voluminous, so I should write rho, plus rho, okay, plus rho and then minus rho, since it is voluminous. So let me take volume charge density. So firstly we assume that there is charge density positive in first case, and then in second case we will find by assuming a negative charge density, so net charge density becomes 0, so space becomes ultimately a vacant one. So let me find electric field in first case plus, okay, this is net electric field at any general point P, at a general point P, okay, is equal to electric field E2 due to negative charge density okay, and this is along particular direction also, so let me clear the inside of this sphere, okay, let me draw a clear sphere, and we have a point P here, okay. So electric field in first very case will be directed along this side, and if its distance is, suppose let it is R1, so at this very point electric field will be equal to, we know that E1 will be equal to magnitude, and EDS, let me find using Gauss's theorem, E dot ds is equal to charge enclosed, and charge enclosed means charge density, charge per unit volume into given volume, and the given volume is 4 by 3 pi R1 cube, okay, divided by charge enclosed by epsilon naught, so it is epsilon naught, and this is in the direction of R1 cap, this is in the direction of R1 cap, okay, and this becomes equal to E1 and here surface area is equal to, here if you take a Gaussian surface area is equal to 4 pi R1 square is equal to rho 4 pi R1 cube by 3 epsilon naught. So 4 pi cancel, R1 square and this cancel, therefore E, and this is in the direction of R1 cap, okay, so E1 is equal to rho R1 by 3 epsilon naught R1 cap. So we get electric field at this general point, which is directed towards R1 vector unit cap. Now we will find at the same point electric field due to assumed negative charge density rho. So suppose in this figure, now from center, this center was O and O1 and this center is O2. Now suppose if this directed distance of point P is R2 cap. So if we magnify this diagram, so here it is R1 and here is R2, and the direction of, obviously, sorry, let me omit it. Since this is now assumed here is negative charge density minus rho, so direction will be towards this direction. So at this very point we have electric field in this direction and this direction, and the resultant of the two, by triangle law of vector addition, direction will be along this direction. So we will be finding this direction and vector sum of the two fields. So let me find E2 here due to this negative charge density. So E2 negative charge density rho. So E2 is equal to, and flux phi is equal to E2 into ds is equal to charge density per unit volume into volume by epsilon naught. It implies that E2, and if here you draw a surface area at this very point, so surface area will be equal to 4 pi R2 square is equal to rho into, and volume is equal to 4 by 3 pi R2 cube by epsilon naught, and this is in the direction of R2 cap. And so you can see E2 vector E2 is equal to rho R2 upon 3 epsilon naught into R2 cap. Therefore E net is equal to E1 plus E2, and this is equal to, okay, so this is equal to, E1 is equal to, and this charge density is minus, so let me put here minus sign. So the resultant electric field will be rho R1 by 3 epsilon naught minus rho R2 by 3 epsilon naught into, and this becomes equal to, you can see from triangle law of vector addition, this vector, this R vector, you can write as R is equal to, vector R is equal to R1 plus R2. Vector R is equal to R1 plus R2. So here you can write, in place of R1 and R2, you can write R vector. And this is equal to rho by 3 epsilon naught R2 minus R1 vector R. So there is an electric field which is also a constant one, because here density is constant, this epsilon naught is constant for a particular point